Let's go check out the fall suede jackets at Madewell. They released 4 different styles for women for the fall. I'm actually really pleased with the offerings this fall. The first style is this calf suede jacket that comes in at $4.98. Thankfully, it's fully lined and all of the edges are finished really well. The lapels are done nicely and there are no raw edges, generally speaking. The cuff does not have a raw edge and you can see the lining comes about mid-wrist. The nap is really fine and soft and generally has a really nice texture to the leather. For a calf suede jacket, this is a really beautiful piece. My only complaint is that while the top layer is folded in and stitched nicely, the supporting bottom layer does have a raw edge. Given the rest of the construction details, I found this a little bit forgivable, especially for the $500 price point. These all run a little bit oversized, so I'm typically a size small / size 6, and the small fit really nicely for me. I am more on the petite side at 5'2", so the sleeves were a little bit longer, but they suggested I folded them in and that worked for me. Next is this Fringe calf suede jacket that comes in at around $600. This is one of those pieces that looked better on the hanger, but as soon as you got up close, you can see some of the shortcuts they took here. While the construction was decent, the issue that I had was they didn't paint the raw edges on this jacket, so you would just see flashes of white as you move in this jacket. You can kind of see here the top layer is done nicely, but the bottom layer again has that really ugly raw edge. The sleeves were fine and it was fully lined, but for around $630, I just expected them to take that additional step to really perfect this piece. Here's another shot that you would see if that jacket was unbuttoned. And before you argue that this is a design choice, absolutely not. They should have taken that extra step to dye the raw edge so that it blends better with the rest of the jacket. Now that I've pointed that out, you can see those white flashes on the lapel here when I wear the jacket. Aside from that, I personally didn't enjoy the silhouette on me being on the shorter side, but this might work for someone who's taller. Side note, I did really love the fringe on this jacket. I thought that was really cute. Next, we have a longer chore style jacket in calf suede coming in at $625. This was great. It was lined. It was finished better than the previous piece. You can see here that the edges were dyed appropriately. The inside looked great. It was lined appropriately. The edges were finished nicely and all parts of the jacket just looked like a great jacket, and I can kind of understand the $600 price point. Taking a closer look at the pockets, everything looks great. Like, I really don't have that many complaints about this jacket at all. This is calf suede and it's lined with a polyester and viscose blend, just like all of the other Madewell jackets. The nap is really nice and smooth and overall just beautiful. If I lived in a colder climate, I would have gone for this jacket. It fit really well. It felt really well. All those color gradations were just a beautiful aspect of the jacket that added texture and movement. On me, again, at 5'2", the sleeves were a little bit long, so I didn't opt for this, but this was definitely my second choice. Next, let's take a look at this boxy cropped suede jacket coming in at around $525. This one was disappointing because it wasn't lined at all. And just like that Banana Republic jacket I had an issue with, the armpits were done very poorly. It should never ever look like that. The edges weren't great, like it looked really messy, and the cuff here you can see just isn't done as well as the other jackets. All of that interior support has been glued down instead of stitched. And you can see how messy they've done it. Like, the glue is everywhere. And on the back, you can see some wrinkling. I mean, all of this is just very, very poorly done. This jacket is a hard pass. I mean, it's really not worth the $500-ish price point. Taking a closer look at those seams, you can see that they're lifting here. This should never, ever happen. So if you ever see this on a suede jacket, pass on it because it'll start falling apart very quickly with some wear. Another thing you should be paying attention to is the dye process on suede jackets. So this is a good example where the dye on the pocket is darker than the rest of the jacket. And there are also these weird streaks on the jacket that I think was intended to be part of the dye, but it just looks very messy and overall looks really cheap. At first, I thought this was part of the nap, but it's not. It's just a very poor dye job, and this really should never have passed quality control. I know they can do better because they've done better in previous seasons. Next is this Kline blazer I found on the sales rack for $400. This is a previous season's piece. I think this is really beautiful. It's made out of goat suede and it's beautifully lined. There are some great interior details like that interior pocket. Generally, the finishing on this jacket is done really well. So if you find this on sale, definitely pick it up. This does run small, so this is a size 8 on me, which fit perfectly, but I passed on it just because it was a little longer and not the look I was going for. Ultimately, I decided on the first jacket here, and because of the promotions they were running and it was my birthday month, I got this for $370. For the price, I think Madewell's quality is pretty good for their shoes, so I usually check a few out every season as well. This pair was obscenely comfortable and I couldn't pass them up, so I did end up purchasing these as well. You already know I'm a huge fan of the Miley shoulder bags, and these other colorways are also stunning. These are around $200 and you just cannot beat that for that price point. That's it for my haul. Let me know what you think in the comments.